It's cheaper to bring in prepackaged foods that are made in mass quantities, regardless of how they taste or regardless of what their nutritional value is, than it is to sit there and cook meals. So the school districts have turned to this in droves, and the management companies, the food service companies that are preparing these foods, they're perfectly happy to make for the schools whatever the schools are asking for. But if what you're looking for is the cheapest possible solution to your food problem, you're going to get what you pay for.
Why are we looking for the cheapest possible food? Every school I've talked to said, well, we have a mandate, we have to be self-sufficient, we have to make money on our food. Why?
I think much of it is just thoughtless. It's not that it's deliberately designed to make kids fat or unhealthy. It's just something that occurred as a result of not thinking about it too much. And it's only now, when obesity has become such a problem, and the schools are one place where the food situation seems fixable. It's hard to do it home by home, but in schools you have the opportunity to make real changes that'll make a real difference. It's only when everybody began to understand that this social movement about changing foods in schools started occurring, and I think it's very exciting.
So what role really should government play in school lunch?
Yeah, I mean, if I were the government czar of school lunch, I would say it's government's role to encourage the health of the American public in every way possible, and to make it easier for schools to do that. Right now it's difficult, so let's make it easier. Personal responsibility is fine as far as it goes. I'm in favor of parental control over what kids eat. I think adults should decide what kids eat, and I think that parents really need to take responsibility. I'm totally for that. However, let's make it easier for parents to do the right thing. Right now, the default is for kids to eat junk food. The default is to make it as difficult as possible for parents to control what their kids are eating. They're fighting with their kids constantly over issues of fast food or issues of junk food, because those foods are advertised extraordinarily, and they're advertised deliberately to convince kids that that's the kind of food that kids are supposed to be eating. They're not supposed to be eating the boring foods that their parents are eating. They're only supposed to eat kids' food, food made just for kids. And that, I think, is subversive. It deliberately is designed to undermine parental authority, and it makes parents who want to exercise parental authority, it puts them into a position that makes it very, very difficult for them to actually do what they would like to do if they had a little bit of help doing it. Parents tell me that they feel like they're fighting the entire food system on their own, and they are. So it's a question of whether you pander to food industry marketing or whether you don't. And if you're not going to pander to food industry marketing, and you're going to fight $36 billion worth of advertising and marketing a year, of which probably a quarter to a third is directed deliberately to children, if you're going to say, okay, we're not going to do that, then you have to teach kids critical thinking about food marketing. And I think that should be part of the school curriculum. The kids need to learn about where food comes from. They need to learn about how it's produced, how it gets from production to consumption. They need to learn about marketing. They need to see how this world works. And the wonderful thing about food is that everybody can get it. Everybody gets it. It's really easy to understand. It makes it a fabulous teaching tool. And to miss that opportunity for teaching seems to me a tragedy. That's one of the reasons why the business about school meals is so important, because if it's hooked into the curriculum, then the kids have really a lot to learn, and will learn a lot, and that the kinds of things that they learn in the school curriculum around these school meals will stick with them for life. I've been in places where the menus are extremely restricted. The food is good, but it's very restricted in choice, but the kids are eating it and are loving it and are involved in it and are learning how to cook and demanding cooking lessons and complaining to their parents that the food at school is better than what they're getting at home. It isn't just the one thing that these kids are eating in school, it's what the entire thing looks like. And that's harder for people to talk about, because obviously you have to take it food by food. But when you put them all together, if you're putting together choices that are mostly healthy, I don't think you need to worry about individual nutrients. You never need to think about nutrients. All of the things that the Beverage Association is doing are designed to keep the vending machines in schools. And this gets us into the whole question of, well, you need vending machines because kids want bottled water. How about let's start talking about water fountains and other ways of getting water to kids. I, of course, think there should be a food agency that deals with all of these kinds of aspects. So it needs to get out of the Department of Agriculture, or the Department of Agriculture needs to be given a different kind of mandate to do this in a better way. But we certainly need government involved in this. I mean, the wellness policy is just that. It's a policy. It has no teeth behind it. It has no enforcement, and it has no money to make it happen. So if there is a reasonable organization of people who are interested in doing something, they can push the wellness policy to actually make some changes. Otherwise, it's just words on paper. What makes this so politically interesting is that you can do community organizing in schools, school by school, district by district, community by community, state by state, and you can be, as an individual, extraordinarily successful in changing a school lunch program just by getting other people involved and exercising democratic rights and using the democratic process and doing these really exciting things at the local level. In the schools that I see that have made really important changes, you have a principal, teachers, parents, and a school food service director who are all on the same page. They all want to do something right for the kids. The question is how you do it, and that will depend on the individual situation and the specific situation in a particular school. That's why this is such a good thing to do from the standpoint of local politics, because you can really make something happen. This isn't rocket science, you know, this isn't major surgery. This is doing something that's really very simple, and the kids are enormously appreciated. They feel the respect that comes with trying to give them food that is good for them and good.